For 6 long years, Maegor I Targaryen ruled the 7 kingdoms through fear. The great lords obeyed because they had to. The small folk prayed for better days. The faith militant had been battered, but not broken. The royal family itself had been torn apart by executions, battles, and suspicion. The Targaryen dynasty stood at a crossroads. It needed a tyrant no longer. It needed a healer. While Maegor ruled, one surviving son of Aenys I Targaryen had escaped his uncle's reach. His name was Jaehaerys I Targaryen. Still a teenager, Jaehaerys lived in exile with his elder sister, Alysanne Targaryen. Like generations of Targaryens before them, the 2 siblings fell in love. Knowing that Maegor would never approve, they secretly married according to Valyrian custom. It was a bold and dangerous act. If Maegor captured them, they would almost certainly die. Instead, news of their marriage inspired many who still opposed the king. For the first time in years, people had a living symbol around whom they could unite. Across Westeros, support for Maegor slowly began to disappear. Even some of the lords who had once fought for him had grown weary. His endless executions had created too many enemies. His lack of an heir made his future uncertain. His cruelty no longer looked like strength. It looked like desperation. One by one, powerful houses declared for Jaehaerys. The young prince called his banners. Another civil war seemed inevitable. Before the armies could meet, something astonishing happened. One morning, the guards entered the throne room of the Red Keep. There sat Maegor, dead. His body remained upon the Iron Throne. One of the throne's twisted blades had pierced him. No one knew exactly how he had died. The mystery has endured for centuries. Some believed he took his own life after realizing the kingdom had abandoned him. Others suspected assassination. Perhaps one of his queens, perhaps a member of the king's guard, perhaps one of his own servants. A few even claimed the Iron Throne itself had judged him unworthy. Fire and Blood presents these theories without declaring any of them true. Maegor's death remains one of the great unsolved mysteries of Targaryen history. With Maegor gone, Jaehaerys was proclaimed king. He was only 14 years old. Many expected another weak ruler like his father. They were wrong. Unlike Aenys, Jaehaerys listened carefully, but he also acted decisively. Unlike Maegor, he understood that fear alone could never unite a kingdom. He possessed patience, curiosity, intelligence, and perhaps most importantly, he knew how to compromise without appearing weak. These qualities would earn him one of the greatest reputations in Westerosi history. Beside Jaehaerys stood his queen and sister, Alysanne Targaryen. If Jaehaerys became known as the conciliator, Alysanne became known as the conscience of the monarchy. She loved to travel. Rather than remaining inside palaces, she visited towns, villages, castles, and remote regions. She listened directly to ordinary people, women, farmers, merchants, widows, children. She asked questions few monarchs had ever bothered to ask. What problems did the people actually face? Again and again, she returned to King's Landing with recommendations. Many of the kingdom's reforms began with her observations. The greatest challenge remained the faith of the Seven. Decades of bloodshed had accomplished nothing. Jaehaerys chose a different path. He negotiated. He met with religious leaders. He showed respect without surrendering royal authority. Eventually, a lasting settlement was reached. The faith formally accepted Targaryen rule. In return, the crown recognized the faith's important place within the realm. Most importantly, the militant religious orders that had caused so much conflict were dissolved. The long war between dragons and religion finally came to an end. It was one of Jaehaerys' greatest achievements. Peace allowed Jaehaerys to focus on governing. His reign transformed Westeros in countless ways. He ordered roads improved, making travel and trade easier across the Seven Kingdoms. He encouraged the standardization of laws, replacing many conflicting local customs with clearer royal justice. Royal authority became stronger, but also more predictable. Merchants prospered, harvests improved, trade expanded between distant regions. The kingdom became wealthier than it had ever been. Many later historians would look back on his reign as the closest Westeros ever came to true stability. Like the conquerors before them, Jaehaerys and Alysanne rode dragons. Jaehaerys' dragon was Vermithor, one of the largest dragons ever to live. Alysanne rode the graceful Silverwing. Unlike Balerion, whose name inspired terror, these dragons became symbols of prosperity and royal progress. Where they flew, people often gathered not in fear, but in celebration. Years passed peacefully. Children were born to the royal family. The realm flourished. It seemed the wounds left by Maegor had finally healed. But prosperity brought an unexpected problem. Jaehaerys had many children. So many, in fact, that questions about the succession became increasingly complicated. Who should inherit the Iron Throne? The eldest son? A younger but more capable prince? A daughter? A granddaughter? At first, these questions seemed distant. Then tragedy began to strike the royal family. One heir died, then another, and another. The old king would eventually face the most difficult decision of his life. A decision that, though intended to preserve peace, would unknowingly plant the seeds of the greatest civil war in Targaryen history. That war would become known as the Dance of the Dragons.